Hey guys, have you ever been in a hospital late at night and suddenly heard a strange sound coming from a deserted hallway? A sound that shouldn't be there, but you hear it crystal clear. Tonight, we're diving deep into one of Indonesia's most legendary horror myths, the mystery of the Suster Ngesot, the scooting nurse. This isn't about a ghost that jumps out at you, it's about one that moves slowly, phasing through walls and floors, said to be hunting for victims in the dead of night. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This story is a fictional tale inspired by a powerful urban legend. All names, characters, and events are purely for entertainment. Now, turn off all the lights, put on your headphones to make it more immersive, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of deep dive mystery. In the comments, type "ready for the chills." You wake up, not in your own comfortable bed, but on a cold, patient gurney in an old, decaying hospital. The corridors outside your room are silent. The only sounds are the dripping of a broken faucet and the low hum of a flickering fluorescent light in the distance. The air is bone-chilling, carrying the sharp, sterile scent of antiseptic. You try to get up, but your body feels heavy, stiff. Suddenly, from the far end of the dark corridor, you hear a sound, a Ngesot. It's not the sound of footsteps. It's a harsh, grating scrape, as if something heavy is being dragged across the concrete floor. A figure slowly emerges, getting closer. It's wearing a faded nurse's uniform. Its long hair is a mess, and its face. You can't see it clearly, but you know it's staring right at you. You want to scream, but your voice is caught in your throat. You want to run, but your body is frozen solid. Now that we know what it feels like to face her, let's ask a more fundamental question. Who is she, really? Behind the image that's been parodied and turned into comedy, the legend of the scooting nurse holds many contradictory versions. And this is where it gets interesting, because each version reflects a different societal fear. The most popular version, the one you've likely heard, is the story of a nurse named Lastri, or an anonymous nurse who was a victim of violence. The story goes that a beautiful young nurse was on the night shift at an old hospital. As she was walking to the lab, a doctor, her own colleague, brutally assaulted and murdered her. In some versions, her legs were crushed or even cut off. As a result, her spirit haunts the hospital corridors, dragging her broken body, forever trapped in endless suffering and a thirst for revenge. Her scooting motion is no longer just how she moves. It's a visualization of her trauma, an eternal torment that haunts her and anyone who crosses her path. However, there's another, much darker and lesser-known version from West Java. In this story, the roles are completely reversed. The nurse's name is Nora, a woman of Dutch descent. Nora wasn't a victim. She was a vicious perpetrator who practiced black magic. It's said she enjoyed murdering the residents of the nursing home where she worked. When her crimes were discovered, an angry mob delivered their own brutal justice. Her legs were beaten until they were shattered as she was killed by the crowd. After her death, the spirit of Nora, the punished murderer, continues to haunt the area, dragging her broken legs to torment the living. These two contradictory stories reveal one thing. The legend of the scooting nurse is a vessel for our collective fears. On one hand, she symbolizes the injustice and violence that women face. On the other, she represents the societal fear of women who possess unconventional power, and how society often reacts with violence to neutralize such a perceived threat. The tale of the scooting nurse was so potent that it bled into popular media, and this is where the story began to mutate. In 2007, a horror film titled Suster Ngesot was released and became a massive success, ranking as the 5th highest-grossing film of the year in Indonesia. The film tells the story of a ghost named Lastri, a nurse murdered by her own lover, a doctor, after he discovered she was cheating on him. Lastri's ghost then haunts the hospital with a vengeance against unfaithful couples. The shift in motive from assault and murder to infidelity is no coincidence. The film industry often modifies folklore to make it more digestible for a wider audience. Sexual violence is a heavy theme, while infidelity is a more popular and relatable conflict. The name Suster Ngesot essentially became a horror brand that could be filled with any plot, as seen again in the 2018 film The Secret Suster Ngesot Urban Legend, starring two of Indonesia's biggest celebrities. The legend also lives on through digital platforms like Wattpad and even horror cartoons, proving just how fluid and dynamic folklore can be. Psychologically, female ghosts in Indonesian horror, including the scooting nurse, are often depicted as victims of physical violence or assault. These spirits cannot rest in peace because their deaths were an injustice. Their vengeance is a symbol of the justice they never received in life. These ghosts are a reflection of our collective fears and mirror the high rates of violence against women in the real world. The phenomenon of the body freezing up when encountering the scooting nurse can be interpreted as the natural human psychological response to extreme fear, known as the freeze response. The body automatically locks itself down as a defense mechanism. In the context of the legend, this natural response is reimagined as the ghost's supernatural power, as if she has complete control over her victims. The legend of the scooting nurse also has a cousin in another city, which shows how a horror archetype can mutate to fit a local context. In the city of Surabaya, there's the story of Suster Gepeng, the flat nurse. She is said to be the spirit of a nurse who was crushed to death in an elevator at a hospital that has since become a popular shopping mall. While the story is different, the core elements remain the same. A female nurse with a mutilated body haunting a building. It shows how our horror legends aren't static. They evolve, borrowing elements from local history to become even more relevant and terrifying. So, when we peel back the layers, the scooting nurse isn't just about a ghost. It's about trauma, vengeance, and our history. Now, I want to ask you all, have you ever heard a different version of the scooting nurse story? Or maybe you have a creepy experience from an old hospital you'd like to share. Tell me about it in the comments below. More than just a ghost story, the scooting nurse is a reminder that sometimes the most real horror is born from unspoken suffering, from injustices that are never resolved, and from traumas that continue to haunt our collective subconscious. And speaking of legends that spark debate, this next story is just as eerie and mysterious. A tale allegedly based on a real-life tragedy. Get ready, because in the next episode, we're going to unpack the KKN in the Dancing Village.